For as long as I can remember, I knew that I was different. One of my first memories is looking down from my top bunk bed and feeling completely alone and unloved. I never really had real friends. Maybe I just didn't let anyone get close enough that they could hurt me. I never thought that I was good enough to have other people care about me, and no one seemed to really understand me. My parents' love always came with conditions and expectations, and no matter how well I did, I never felt like I lived up to any of them. I felt like a failure, and I was always felt alone and misunderstood. Fast forward to college, and my impulsive behaviors became cries for help. I attempted suicide 5 times. I engaged in self-harm and substance use, and I felt like I was completely out of control. I didn't even recognize myself. It was like I was watching a movie as it was going on. I just kept faking normal because that's all I ever knew, and it wasn't okay to admit that there was a problem, let alone get help. I hid behind a mask, ran from my mind, and ignored the signs that were really clear. I just kept on pretending that everything was okay, even though inside I was screaming. Even though I was fine, everyone thought that I was fine, maybe even doing well, but I couldn't breathe. I wasn't in a very good place for a long time. But fortunately, there were people along the way that provided me with glimmers of hope in my despair. A family friend that recognized my struggle and showed me unconditional love. A school nurse that recognized that I was having issues and urged me to seek professional help when I almost got kicked out of school. A peer that wrote me a letter that said that I mattered, and eventually a psychiatric rehabilitation team that met me where I was and provided support and guidance and services that completely changed my life for the better. I didn't have to live in the chaos. I got to know and accept myself for the person I am underneath my mental health conditions. I started with small changes and found people that supported and encouraged me. And they were true friends that didn't desert me in my struggle, but they held hope for me when I couldn't hold hope for myself. I finally started to get the help that I desperately needed to become the person that I wanted to be, but that was the person that I really was all along. It wasn't until I was 21 that I received my first diagnosis. But I always wondered what would have happened if I was able to get help earlier. It's taken me about 7 more years to reach a point of stability. Most of the time I still struggle with handling situations and life events more than most people. I've had to admit I've had to get extra help. I can't say that it was easy or there weren't bumps along the way. I can't say that I didn't revert to old behaviors and relapse at various points, but I learned how to manage my condition, and more importantly, I learned to love myself. I had to accept myself for who I was, not who I was pretending to be, and be okay with that person. Accept my mental health condition and move forward. I'm definitely doing much better than I ever have in my life, and I know that I'm brave, strong, and that my life is worthwhile. Recovery is hard and it never gets easy, but it does get easier. I know that everything happens for a reason, and I'm who I am today because of everything that I have experienced. I still believe it's made me a better person. I've learned that what works for me may not work for others, and that sometimes I slip, but I can pick myself up. And it's not starting over, but it's starting again with more knowledge and strength than before. I've learned that I have to stay busy and remember to take care of myself, even though sometimes I forget. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to not be okay. The people that really love you will stick with you no matter what, and in the end, that's all that's important. Getting help's not giving in or giving up, but allowing yourself to see the situation for what it is and address it. I go to group therapy once a week, I stay active in my church, and I surround myself with positive people that make me feel good about myself. I try to exercise almost every day, even if I don't want to. And again, I try to eat healthy, even if I don't want to, because both of those things really help regulate my mood and my emotions better. I see a counselor and on a regular basis. I take my medication daily. I've been on and off medication for most of my adult life. It's still kind of a struggle with me, but I'm learning to accept that it really allows me to clear my mind and be the best person that I can be, the person that I really am underneath my symptoms. I have an amazing support group that brings me up when I'm down, but they're not afraid to confront me when I start to falter. And I feel like all my past experiences have brought me to this point in my life. Now I'm a project coordinator for a program that works in schools to help teach kids about mental illness and stigma and how to get people look for the signs, link them to services, and just listen and encourage and support each other and create an accepting atmosphere. I have my own house and car. I have a very supporting partner that's been with me for 4 years, and a small group of friends. They never let me down. I graduated college, I volunteer in the community, and I advocate and support for people that aren't in the part of their recovery journey that they can do so for themselves. In addition, last year I completed my first triathlon, and I'm going to do it again this year, as well as my first marathon. So I'm really excited about that. But that whole training process really taught me a lot about myself. And it really taught me that I can do anything. All I have to do is try. I know that I'm capable of amazing and beautiful things, and I can enrich the lives of others around me. I don't have to hide behind that mask anymore or run away from those demons. I know how to manage my symptoms, and I'm living proof that recovery is possible and that there is hope. C.S. Lewis said, "Courage. Your moments of nervousness are not your real self, only medical phenomena." I hope that by sharing my story, I can shine a light in others' darkness. Recovery is possible. Life has meaning. It's okay to get help, and I'm proud of myself and my mental health conditions and how far I've come. I'm a survivor, and I won't give up. This is me. I'm living